You doubted me. I bet you thought I didn't have it in me. Inside Charles there is no dog. He can't stand on business. He can hardly stand at all. At 5'6" it looks like he's always sitting down. Well, Goof Troop, I'm happy to report that I've found my resolve. Like an anime character, I'm finally saying enough is enough and I'm standing up for something. And it's not buying Dragon's Dogma 2 again. If you watched the video I posted earlier, you'll know I literally cannot play Dragon's Dogma 2 on PC. It is a PC port that is non-functional for a lot of players, and I am in that group that cannot get it to run for any longer than 5 to 10 minutes at a time before crashing. I actually can't play it. Which is more devastating than finding out your father's cheated on your mother or something. Like, this hurts on a deep level for me. This is one of those very few games where I've had an extreme level of hype and optimism for it, only to be disappointed to this degree. As I said, I loved the first Dragon's Dogma when it came out over a decade ago, so this is a game I couldn't wait to sink my teeth into, but I actually can't, through no fault of my own. I've tried everything and it will not work. And I know if I buy this game for console, it will function. I'll be able to play it and I'll probably enjoy it because everything about it seems exactly what I would want from the sequel to Dragon's Dogma. But I just don't want to do that anymore. This is unacceptable what they've pulled with this PC port here. This just shouldn't be allowed to be sold. Even among the people that are having problems with the game, my issue is kind of still a shiny Pokemon in terms of rarity where it just constantly crashes. There's only a handful of us with that problem, but everyone who's playing it on PC for the most part is experiencing performance-related issues as well as a myriad of other problems. Also, it launched with like a really greedy microtransaction store. Of course, nothing in there is like a necessity to gameplay, but the fact that a single-player game is still so predatory with its microtransactions is a terrible look and a terrible direction for the games industry as a whole, and it's only been getting worse over the years. So, in a nutshell, I just am tired of playing the trained animal that the video games industry thinks I am, where I just sit here clapping my hands with a smile on my face as I consume the shit they constantly feed me. Like, these executives are legitimately just dropping trow and human centipeding gamers, knowing full well it doesn't matter. They'll still keep buying the products no matter what they do. In the past, when I was a weaker man, a coward, I would have normally just refunded this on Steam and bought it on console, played it, made a moist meter on it, and made note that the PC port is fucking trash. It's abysmal. But I still would have bought it again and played through it so I could review it. I'm not doing that in this case. Like, I can't. I'm done participating in this. This is just an absolute circus. This is a clown show from AAA gaming space. There are so many broken, downright broken PC launches for these titles now. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. So probably for the first time ever in my life, I'm just saying enough is enough. I'm not going to bother just buying it again and playing it through on console so I can review it and enjoy the game. Like, if you're going to release a game on a platform, it should work on that platform. Like, that's not asking a whole lot. That should be the bare minimum, right? That it should be in an acceptable state. I understand performance issues. A lot of these games are massive, and there's so much variety to, like, different PC builds and everything. I get that it makes it hard to fully optimize a game to work on every piece of hardware. There's going to be stutters. There's going to be hiccups. These games are massive, so that's to be expected. I think that's totally excusable. I do understand that. But what's not excusable is the state Dragon's Dogma 2 is in, where it's universal, where pretty much everyone on PC is having these problems. And then in certain cases like mine and quite a few others, it just doesn't function entirely. That to me sounds like there was no real attempt at optimizing in the first place, that it was just pushed out as quickly as possible to meet production deadlines, and it feels like, with the microtransactions here, the primary goal was to drive as many people to spend as much money as possible as quickly as possible. It's a $70 game, 70 bones here, that's a lot of clams, and then there's still a ton of microtransactions that they're trying to kind of shove you towards as well. Again, they're not a necessity or anything, but they are there and they're pretty appealing to a lot of players, I imagine, and it's a fucking single-player game. Why are they there to begin with? I don't like the argument of, oh, it's there just for people who want to spend money to progress faster. What kind of cuck wants that? It's a single-player game. Why are you rushing to get to the end game to begin with? It's not like an MMO. There's no reason to rush through the game. You bought a chunky single-player game. Why are you going to be spending extra money just to get through it faster? Is it part of your chores or something? Like, I don't get it. I mean, I'd maybe understand it from the perspective of like an IGN reviewer or something who wants to put in the bare minimum to review it, so they'd like spend a lot of money to get through it quicker. I guess then that would make sense, albeit that'd be kind of scummy. Like, I just don't see why anyone would defend having micros in a single player game like this. And I've seen all of the counterpoints about, well, it was in Resident Evil 4 and all of that. I mean, it's not like I was defending it there either. It's not like I think that's good in there either. Like, I still think it's unnecessary and silly. It just seems like as this continues to become more and more prevalent, we're going to see them start to subtly change gameplay to be more inconvenient so it drives more people to get the microtransactions to speed it up a bit. I don't think that's necessarily happening with Dragon's Dogma 2 from everything I read. I don't think the microtransactions have had like an effect on the gameplay and the design philosophy around it, but I can absolutely see a future where if this is more commonplace and more accepted, they would absolutely make it more tedious to do it legitimately in-game, to like grind RC or grind currency. So that way players would be incentivized to just spend the money to skip that part because it's not fun. I could definitely see that happening. Now again, I don't think it's happening in this game, but I could see that being the case down the line. And it sucks. That's not good at all. And I don't think there's any arguments for defending this ridiculous idea of paying $70 and only getting one fucking save. What? And like everything's stored server side for like your character design and everything apparently, so like no matter what, you can't edit your appearance unless you pay for it or if you grind enough currency to do it in game. Like, come on, it's a single player game. It's a single player fucking game. Why are you storing that server side? Just let us have fun. It's so stupid. Just everything about the launch of Dragon's Dogma 2 here just seems so anti-consumer. Plus it's fucking riddled with Denuvo, which is a scourge in the gaming industry. It's DRM that has a well-documented history of making games function worse. Which is why, and I've said this so many times recently, piracy is a really appealing option for games like this, because I bet if I downloaded this game, if this game gets cracked in the next month or so, if I pirated this game, it would probably work for me on PC, no problem, buttery smooth, because it wouldn't have Denuvo weighing it down, which is a plague. Like, I would probably get a better experience, I'd probably be able to actually play the game if I fucking pirated it. Like, the official release of this is just so poorly optimized. Like, you would absolutely, most likely, have a better experience through just torrenting this shit. This whole launch of Dragon's Dogma 2 is just so frustrating to me. It's also one of the very few times I can recall that a game that I was super excited for turned out like this. This has happened a lot in the modern gaming space, but I've never really had it happen to a game that I wasn't expecting it to. Cyberpunk, there was a lot of telltale signs that this was probably going to be a rough launch. Like, the Jedi Survivor. Also, quite a few red flags that there was probably going to be launch problems. All of those I expected. I kind of knew it was coming. This, completely out of the blue. When I started stream last night, I was in extremely high spirits. I was like, oh, I can't believe this game has bad reviews on Steam. It's probably just people review bombing it or complaining about like really trivial things. It's probably not actually in a bad state. I thought maybe there was just something that ruffled some feathers, like maybe a couple microtransactions, which is of course not a good look, but probably not reason enough to shit on the game and give it like a 1 star. But then I tried playing it, and it doesn't fucking work. So it totally warrants all of the terrible reviews. This isn't a game that's necessarily been review bombed. There's just tons of players that have had a horrible experience with it, like me. I can't even have an experience with it. I'm so over this marketing philosophy of release now, fix later. It sucks. It super sucks. Just release the complete product and have it work off rip. It just shouldn't be that rare to see. It shouldn't be like an uncommon thing in the industry. Jiminy Christmas, Jeepers Creepers. So yeah, I just had to rant about this and explain that I will not be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 anytime soon. I'll maybe play it down the line if they ever manage to fix the PC port. I'll give it a whirl, but I'm not going to just buy it on console so I can play it now. I'll just play it eventually when it actually functions on PC. So I just wanted to kind of dive into this a little bit deeper. That's really about it. See ya.